Viewers, the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaih, is in a lot of trouble. Now, I'm not just making far-fetching comments, viewers. I will base them on the excerpts of the judgment that was delivered by the Karnataka High Court. Ideally, on the back of that judgment, he should quit pending investigation into an alleged land scam that some say runs into thousands of crores. If there is a moral bone left in the Congress party, it should be looking to a metaphorical Bharat to sit astride the Chief Minister's chair. Siddaramaih steps aside pending investigation. The reason is because prima facie, the High Court has upheld the state government's decision to grant sanction to prosecute Chief Minister Siddaramaih. The alleged MUDA or MUDA scam, as it's being called, focuses on the value of land allotted to the Chief Minister's wife, Parvati, in an upmarket area of Mysuru as compensation for land that the Development Authority took from her elsewhere for an infra development project. The Karnataka High Court prima facie believes that the Chief Minister has a lot to explain. Why, for instance, did he gain, in a manner of speaking, undue advantage, use undue influence to get undue benefit as a result of an undue favor? Now, here's quoting straight out of the judgment itself. When it refers to undue advantage, this is what it says, quote, undue advantage, and this is the justice speaking. I deem it appropriate to use for the reason that relinquishment of land happens 40 kilometers away. But compensatory land springs within the heart of Mysore city. On the question of undue influence, the judgment says, quote, for usage of undue influence, there need not be any recommendation or any order being passed by a public servant. The petitioner, in this case the Chief Minister, is undoubtedly behind the smoke screen for every benefit that has flown to the wife of the petitioner, that is the Chief Minister. The benefit is to the family prima facie due to the power of the petitioner, unquote. On the question of undue benefit, the justice says, and I quote, not a single instance is shown where a person who has relinquished land in Kasare Grama has been granted compensatory land in the upscale area of Mysore city. It is in no doubt true that it is not only in the case of the petitioner that compensatory land by the way of site is granted, but it is only in the case of the wife of the petitioner, that is the Chief Minister, that it is granted in Vijayanagar, third stage. Undue favor. On this question, the judgment says, and I quote, what is further surprising is the moment the benefit is flown to the hands of the wife of the petitioner, proceedings begin to withdraw the rule of grant of compensatory land in the ratio of 50-50. As an icing on the cake, on 27/10/2023, when the petitioner is again the Chief Minister, the government withdraws the resolution of MUDA, which was for grant of compensatory land at 50-50 ratio, in which the son of the petitioner had participated. The High Court signs off by saying that, and I quote, how and why the rule was bent in favor of the family of the Chief Minister is what is required to be investigated. If this does not require investigation, I fail to understand what other case can merit investigation, as the beneficiary is the family of the petitioner and the benefit is by leaps and bounds. It is in fact a windfall, unquote. But as of now, the Chief Minister is sticking to his guns. The Chief Minister has said, viewers, that he is being hounded, that he is being persecuted, on account of being actually a pro-poor backward. Let me just quote him. Our judicial struggle against this revenge politics of BJP and JDS will continue, he says. I have faith in the court. All the MLAs, leaders and workers of our party and the Congress High Command have stood by me and encouraged me to continue the fight for the law. This is what Siddaramaih says. He goes on to say, BJP and JDS have resorted to political retaliation against me because I am pro-poor and fighting for social justice, unquote. Now viewers, the court has gone into objections raised by the Karnataka Chief Minister against the order passed by the governor. And let's go into some of these. And they're all on your screens, viewers. I hide nothing from you. Nothing can get between us, viewers. So the facts are right there. The objection that the Chief Minister raised was that this was a sponsored witch hunt against him. But look at what the High Court says. The complainants were justified in registering the complaint or seeking approval at the hands of the governor. The other objection the Chief Minister made in court was that the governor cannot assume the advice of the cabinet of ministers is biased and assume discretionary powers and must explain orders that the cabinet decision suffers from manifest irrationality, unquote. The High Court responds and says the governor in normal circumstances has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, but can act independently in exceptional circumstances, and the present case is one such exception, viewers. One such exception. So it upholds the right of the governor that was abused by the Congress party government as being biased. But the court says no, he isn't. The objection was raised by Siddaramaih, saying governor towing the line dictated by the centre acted in hottest haste, unquote. To which the High Court replies, gubernatorial order nowhere suffers from want of application of mind. It is not a case of not even a semblance of application of mind by the governor, but abundance of application of mind. Abundance, viewers. So the governor, according to the High Court, has really thought it through. Another objection was raised by the Chief Minister. He said, sanction for prosecution cannot be given under Section 17A of the PCA when a private person is a complainant, as in the present case. On this point also, the High Court said, PCA does not require only a police officer to seek approval to investigate a public official. In fact, it is the court duty, unquote, of a complainant to seek such approval even if they are a private citizen. This is what the court has said. Here's a quick glance at the charges against the Chief Minister. October 2010, the land gifted to Parvati, Siddaramaih's wife. And this is a whole timeline, viewers, it's on your screen. June 2014, CM's wife seeks compensation for land used up by the MUDA. So she gets this land, then MUDA comes in to acquire that land and she says, give me compensation. Nothing wrong here. Most people were asking for that and you would too. December 2017, MUDA decides to award alternative sites to Parvati. But viewers, no one else gets the sites that Parvati ji gets. She actually gets, in the words of the court, a windfall. She gets it in the heart of Bengaluru. Land which is priced much higher. Had she been paid ordinarily compensation for the land that was acquired, it would have been far lesser than the price of the land that she gets. She gets 14 plots in Vijayanagar, third phase. In October 2023, alternative sites allotment on a 50-50 basis is then halted. In 2024 June, RTI activist reveals illegal allotment to Chief Minister's wife. Siddaramaih seeks compensation of 62 crores for the land. So viewers, the original price of the land acquired by MUDA is far less. But he seeks 62 crores. He's made a killing. July 2024, Governor issues show cause notice to Siddaramaih. August 2024, CM responds to Governor's notice, denies allegations. August 2024, Governor grants prosecution sanction of Siddaramaih. And that's what happens today. The Karnataka High Court upholds the prosecution sanction of the Chief Minister. Now, this isn't the first time that a governor has granted prosecution sanction against a Chief Minister or public servant holding a high post. In 1995, sanction to prosecute ex-Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha for a graft case was given by the governor. In 1997, ex-Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad sanction granted in fodder scam. In 2016, governor grants a sanction to CBI to prosecute Ashok Chavan in the Adarsh scam. In 2011, Karnataka governor of that time, Mr. Bhardwaj, gave sanction to prosecute ex-Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa in a graft case. Viewers, the question therefore then arises, given all of what I've told you, should the Chief Minister bow out, resign, give way? Because at the end of the day, now that prosecution sanction given by the governor has been upheld by the court, an FIR will be lodged. And viewers, the people who will be now investigating this case report to who? But the gentleman in the middle of our screens, the Chief Minister. Now viewers, when the cabinet was not going to give prosecution sanction, it is a bit rich in our country, especially after what the Supreme Court said the other day and the other courts have said about, the caged parrot, which are our investigation agencies. Do you think they will act independently when they are reporting to Mr. Siddaramaih? It's a bit hard to expect, viewers. I hope that there are people there who will not be swayed. But viewers, given the track record, it doesn't look very promising, does it now? Let's open this up. Surbhi Hodigere, spokesperson of the BJP, is here with us. Karan Verma, author. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst. Sumansi Raman, also with us, an expert commentator.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you first, Tehseen Poonawalla.
Thank you.
I know that the Congress has been bandying about Section 218 of the BNSS.
Correct.
But unfortunately, the Congress doesn't seem to have read the judgment and the order itself.
They have.
Well, then they shouldn't be proclaiming this to be some sort of a partial victory, because even the judge has come out. Well, let me just tell you. The judge has come out and actually said that when an investigation hasn't begun, you can't apply this particular clause. So, from that point of view, the governor stands overruled. But it doesn't take away from the sanction that has been granted under the PMLA, as you know. So, I don't understand why the Congress is using a smokescreen tonight to hide behind a complete demolition of the Chief Minister by the High Court. And I have pointed out, chapter and verse, the problems here. There has been, in the words not of me, but of the High Court, and I've also tweeted this out, viewers, for all of you to see, with the excerpt. In fact, if you keep going into the order beyond the pages that I have put out, you will see all of this that I read out today. So viewers, he stands accused today, in a manner of speaking, of undue advantage, not my words but the courts, undue influence, not my words but the courts, undue benefit as a result of an undue favor. And he wants to stick to that chair as if he got it with him from some divine source, that it is his birthright to sit on it. Tehseen Poonawalla, and he's invoking his identity. So I want to ask you, then why does Rahul Gandhi ask constantly for the resignation of Mr. Modi, who's also a backward caste? Is Rahul Gandhi also anti-backward castes?
So Rahul, there are three things here. The divine right to sit. What language is being used for a chief minister who came from humble beginnings, from the shepherd community? No, it's not his divine right to sit. Obviously, the BJP and the JDS will go after him. They will go after him with a ton of bricks. Because you know what? And doctor, you must hear this. In that MUDA committee that granted those 14 plots to his wife, were BJP and JDS members, were people appointed by BJP and JDS. How come they are not being prosecuted? When was those 14 plots allotted? When he was not chief minister, but Yediyurappa ji was chief minister, when there's the BJP chief minister. So now, Siddaramaih is being prosecuted today for something the BJP government did with BJP and JDS representatives. Of course, they were Congress representatives, but let me take that away. Only because he comes from the shepherd community, the poorest of poor and the most marginalized community. But let me say something more. This is a victory in court today, a partial victory. The vindictive actions of the governor have been called out by the court, and they said, listen, all these sections can only apply if there's an inquiry. Now, who's called for a judicial inquiry? The chief minister. It's only restricted the investigation under 17A, which is a victory. That too will be overruled. And I want your viewers to understand one hypothesis, just a hypothesis. Let's say tomorrow, Doctor or Karan or I make allegations against the Honorable Prime Minister, and the President without seeking the nod of the Cabinet of India,
There will
decides
be
to
no
act
situation
on her
like
own
that.
advice.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
May I please. And the President of India, she decides not to act on the aid and advice of the Cabinet, but decides because the Prime Minister heads the Cabinet, she's empowered to take action against the Prime Minister. The same BJP that interrupted me and didn't want this example to come up right now will be saying, listen, the President can only act on aid and advice of the Cabinet. So I do believe that we are erring in very bad territory, in absolutely in territory that is uncharted. We're seeing how governors from Tamil Nadu, Dr. Suman State, to Karnataka, to other states are acting as unelected representatives and blocking elected governments from functioning. We've seen the comments recently of the Tamil Nadu governor, shameful to say the least. We've seen how same bill that Karnataka passes when it was under BJP and Chhattisgarh passes when it was Congress, same bill verbatim, the Chhattisgarh governor will not sign it, but the Karnataka governor and the BJP will sign it. So this prosecution by Gehlot-ji, the governor of Karnataka, calls for all eyes to be open. And I say
all eyes to be open, viewers, he says. All eyes. All eyes. Open your eyes like this. Very big.
States
all
need
eyes.
To unite. All
now let me tell you. Now let me tell you, viewers. Let me tell you something. And Dr. Raman also knows because he comes very well prepared. In 2011, there was a chief minister and his name was Mr. Dr. Raman, what was his name?
You tell us, Chief Minister of which state would you like us to
Karnataka,
talk
sir.
about?
Karnataka. You're a cephalogist, you know.
Yeah.
didn't say the state
Earlier
now.
there was Yediyurappa.
Yediyurappa belong to which party?
Yediyurappa.
The BJP. Okay, now let me finish. Now let me finish. Let me finish, gentlemen. Now let me finish, please. Let me finish. I only asked you a small question. I didn't ask you for a thesis. One second. Now, Tehseen, let me. Okay, give me. No, please give me 30 seconds, please. Please give me 30 seconds. Please, I'm not going to hide anything from anybody, viewers, because I've tweeted all this out. So, just a minute. Please give me now. Come on, Tehseen. I never interrupted you. Now, please don't do this. Let's have order on the debate. I'm not being unfair here at all. I'm just looking at how this entire circle goes around. So, today is 2024. We go back 13 years. At that time, Hansraj Bhardwaj said that I am granting prosecution sanction against Mr. Yediyurappa. Mr. Yediyurappa and the BJP both say, no. Who is he? He hasn't gone by what the cabinet has said. Who is he? Same thing that Siddaramaih is saying today.
No.
Few months later, the Lokayukta, let me finish. Few months later, viewers, the Lokayukta and a very, very towering personality,
Santosh Hegde.
Mr. Santosh Hegde comes out and says, no, prima facie, there is a case against Mr. Yediyurappa. And he has to demit office, viewers. Both react the same way. Now, you tell me, viewers, when the inevitable is written, and I'm not saying it, the High Court itself has gone into this matter and it's given a very lengthy judgment. Please read it. It's more than 180 pages, almost 200 pages. And in these, page after page, viewers, page after page, it makes certain observations. And these observations I can read out. I can bore you, and they're on your screens.
Allow me to reply to this.
But let me tell you, viewers, sooner than later, Mr. Siddaramaih has to go.
Why?
Now, he must, in the meantime, find his Bharat. Kejriwal found his Bharat. There are no Bharats for him in that party. Let me tell you. DKS is looking over his shoulder. In any case, 2.5 years later, he would have already got that position, some say. So there are all these issues. Viewers, I will come to Dr. Raman in 30 seconds, but I want to bring in Surbhi Hodigere. Your response to Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla and the counter allegations he has made tonight.
I'm very amused that Tehseen began to, parrot the, I am a Hinda leader and therefore you should be protecting me. One, yes, Rahul, as you very rightly said, that does not apply to the Prime Minister. In fact, his caste is used against him. The important thing here, if it was true that the Chief Minister of Karnataka was indeed working for the marginalized of this state, then a Valmiki scam would not have happened. If it is indeed true that an SIT formed or any sort of investigation happening in the Valmiki case was being run in a fair manner, then the minister who had to resign the last 15 months, his name is not even on the charge sheet. In such a situation, how is it that we can trust the state investigation team, which we have dubbed, by the way, Siddaramaihs investigation team, because they've gotten used to giving clean chits? How can we ensure that they have a fair investigation? What this order today has made way for investigation, for inquiry. But in the court of public opinion, it is the requirement of a leader who has said, I have gone 40 years without any black stain of corruption on me. It is a moral duty of a person like this, Mr. Siddaramaiah sir, to resign and allow for a fair investigation. Tell me where your minister who has resigned, your ex-minister, his name was mentioned by the person who committed suicide in the Valmiki case. But it's not there in the charge sheet. How can we expect that the chief minister is going to be investigated without any fear? If he continues to be the chief minister. The second point that I want to make, and the reason I was surprised by the Ahinda point was because, you should have brought up the agnostic rational point. Siddaramaiah says, I'm not scared of anything. I'm never somebody to budge to anything. Today, the same person who is, sworn leftist and agnostic has been making temple runs. It shows some sort of fear and anticipation that something has gone wrong here. Again, I'm not a court of law. BJP is not a court of law.
Can I please make a point?
Let her finish.
All we are
Sure,
saying is that there is a fair reason as to why the governor has given the order that he has given. There has been there have been 5 complainants. It's not a dearth of any complainants. There has been time for it. Let the investigation happen. Why are you scared of the investigation? If you have nothing to hide, you must be the first person to come out and say, investigate me.
Investigate me, Dr. Raman. This
This
elaborate attack on the governor has fallen flat. The Congress is looking extremely compromised. The High Court has come out and said how and why the rule was bent in favor of the family of the Chief Minister is what is required to be investigated into. If this does not require investigation, I fail to understand what other case can merit investigation, as the beneficiary is the family of the petitioner and the benefit is by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Is in fact a windfall.
Rahul,
And he goes on to say, no, 1 minute. Let me finish. Don't be in a hurry. I'm just saying. All the aforesaid allegations in the considered view of the court would require investigation in the least for the reason that if the petitioner was not in the seat of power, helm of affairs, the benefit with such magnitude would not have flown.
Rahul.
Because of him being chief minister, these benefits have flown, says the High Court judge. And he still wants to cling to his chair. Tell me, doctor. Tell me, doctor.
He was not the chief minister, but he was always in a position of power to influence. If you go to Mysore,
Sir, please, there are two aspects. There are two aspects to this.
1 second, Rahul, let me speak. I have not even spoken 2 sentences. Please allow me to speak. First of all, let us make one thing very clear. This is a completely bizarre case for the simple reason that if Mr. Siddaramaih has been prosecuted, then Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, who actually allotted the land or the plots in the Vijayanagar layout, he must be prosecuted. This is a BJP government that gave the plots. It is not a Congress government. I mean, what kind of absurdity is this?
Dr. Raman, think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying. If it was not an issue, if it was exactly this, no, 1 second. If it was exactly this, Mr. Siddaramaih would have welcomed the investigation. Hang on. Would have welcomed the investigation so that he could paint Bommai, the former chief minister, as the villain of the piece and hang him by it. But he went to the court saying that I don't want this investigation, stay it.
may I please come in?
Have I denied it? Have I denied it? It's all there. It's on the timeline. It's on the timeline. So why, if that was the case, if it's the BJP that is guilty, why is Siddaramaih opposed to an investigation? Answer the question.
How he is not opposed to the
investigation? Of course he is. He moved court.
No,
he didn't move court. His ghost moved court.
Look, he has moved the court simply because he has said that there is no case in it. That's all.
If there was so he doesn't want the BJP to be he doesn't want the BJP to be caught out. What do you mean there's no case in it?
This is a bizarre argument.
It's not a bizarre argument.
You are making a bizarre argument.
I mean, the bizarre argument is being made by Dr. Raman. He says the BJP is the criminal. No, hang on. Viewers, just think about it.
They have not been named.
Okay, 1 second. He says, 1 second. Okay, now don't shout over me, sir, please. I'm not saying, I'm only... Okay, sir, you're absolutely right.
Those who allotted the...
You're absolutely right, Dr. Raman. You're right.
But there is corruption and there is nepotism.
Okay, now viewers... Clearly, there is something amiss. Now, whether it's the BJP that facilitated a deal for Mr. Siddaramaih or Mr. Siddaramaih influenced, exercised undue influence, I'm not saying it, the courts are saying it. That has to be investigated, Karan Verma. That has to be investigated. And I would think that the CM would say, this is my opportunity to come out smelling of roses and nail the BJP. But what does he do? He moves mountains. He gets Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Dr. Singhvi to stand with a whole battery of lawyers to say, Roko isko, stop this investigation into me, stop this grant of the governor's prosecution sanction. Why is he wanting to let the BJP off the hook? Karan Verma.
And Rahul, he has been trying to stop this investigation right from December 2023. Let me just share the perspective and timeline for Tehseen's knowledge also. In December 2023, the Urban Development Department instructed the MUDA, the Mysore Urban Development Authority, to stop this allotment. They did not listen to it. In fact, they continued with it. And in March 2024, they went further ahead with it. And then they said, because of the model code of conduct, we cannot reply back to you. This gained steam after the results came in June 2024, and the activists took over it. It was in the local newspapers. And in fact, there was a BJP MLC by the name Mr. Vishwanath, who then moved the courts. And after that, it was the activist, the MUDA chairman, K. Marigoda, who requested the department to form an investigation. After that, Siddaramaihs, I mean, look at the shamelessness of it. In July 2024 said, I can be compensated with 62 crores. He demanded 62 crores. Instead. So this is...
No, Siddaramaih didn't.
I mean, sorry?
No, he's right.
No.
Siddaramaih didn't.
He did.
He did.
No.
What are you saying?
No.
He says, give me 62 crores.
What are you saying, Tessie?
And then, when
July
all of this began
2024,
to hit the ceiling, he said, I'm ready to give the land back.
He writes this letter and says, I'm telling you, he offers to return the sites if MUDA compensates him with rupees 62 crores.
Yes.
Then the social activist, it was TJ Ibrahim, who files complaint with the Lokayuk police in Mysore. So, you know how he's tried to scuttle and stop this probe from reaching its logical conclusion. It's there for us to see. And on 16th August, when they were given interim relief for some time, that time the courts were fine. Today, when that relief has been denied, and today when the court has come heavily on you, then you cry vendetta. And for Tehseen to raise the identity, well, if there is one person who has been vilified and debased, it's the governor. It's the governor Thawar Chand Gehlot, who has been time and again vilified because he's a Dalit. So, you know, raising identity politics doesn't help when you don't have the merits of the case on your side.
And, you know, there is enough.
May I please ask for...
1 second, I'll come to both of you. No problems. I'll come to both of you. Just give me 30 seconds. Just give me 30 seconds. Viewers, if you just go to the Congress timeline, you will see the kind of invective that they have used against the governor. Now, we are not saying here, let's be very clear, viewers. I'm not saying that Mr. Siddaramaih is guilty. What is the High Court saying tonight? The High Court has come out and said, let's begin a probe. In fact, it used very colorful language, proletariat, and it talked about bourgeoisie, this, that, the other, and he said that any ordinary person would have had to be investigated. But there is a problem here, viewers, and the reason why people want Mr. Siddaramaih to step aside is because there could be a conflict of interest. The agencies that are now going to probe after an FIR is lodged report to you, the Chief Minister. Now, Dr. Raman, is it, now, you know, many people say that the BJP controls the ED, the CBI, the courts have said carrot, parrot, whatever, you know. So how do we know that under Siddaramaih, the agencies that will now inquire the police officials who report to him, because he's also the Home Minister, will do an independent job?
No, why not you order a CBI inquiry? Let there be a CBI inquiry. What is the problem?
It's not for me to decide, sir. That is for him to make the recommendation or the court to order one.
What I'm saying is, look, it is crystal clear that this is not going to go anywhere simply because the allocation was made by a BJP government. So this is just for politics and just to try and score some political points.
Okay, Surbhi, I get it. Just for politics.
Can I please come in?
Yeah, of course, Tehseen. You can also come in. Make your point. Tejasvi Surya will be joining us in another 5 minutes. Yes.
I just want
them also.
No. I just want to take on this question
that
has been repeated again and again by Sumant sir. Sir, if you say that it has been granted under the BJP government, was Siddaramaih just a common citizen at that point in time? Do you know the sway that he holds in Mysore? Do you know the kind of sway he holds in the MUDA activities? Is that something
can
you
please
can?
Come?
Was he not?
Yeah,
let me get my point in, please. there is absolute fear of investigation because this house of cards that has been built, that Siddaramaih the Great is untouchable in terms of corruption, is falling apart.
Okay.
Falling apart.
Okay.
And mind
Tessin
you,
Poonawalla,
mind
respond,
you,
please. Let him respond. Please.
Okay, a lot of misinformation has been peddled, and
Okay.
unfortunately, it's been allowed to be peddled. Number one, both Dr. Suman, I and you, Rahul, agree that Siddaramaiah was not chief minister when this land was allotted to his
Yes.
wife.
He
This-
was.
Right. So however influential is BJP?
The
So
same
is
thing
BJP? Does BJP
No,
have
you
the
see-
tail between the
Let him
legs? to
finish.
influence
Let him
it?
finish. Let him finish. Yes. Yeah.
So first, influential or not influential, BJP allots the land. Number one. Number two, Karan, the chief minister did not say he should get the money. He said his family should be compensated. That's his wife line. Everyone on this panel, please allow me. Let's not be condescending. Everyone on this panel agrees that this is a 30-year-old land deal
Which
that
was
we are talking about.
illegally acquired from a Dalit family, FYI.
Can
I'm not
I-
going to let
can I-
you
can
tell
I
me
please-
this amount of misinformation.
Rahul,
Okay, let's not speak over each other. Surbi Holigiri, you can respond to Tehseen Poonawalla. Let him finish his 2 or 3 points. You can respond, please. Let's not speak over each other. Let's do the viewers some service here. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr.
30
Poonawalla.
years
Make your
ago,
point
there
quickly,
is a land
please.
acquired. 30 years ago, there's a land acquired
Yeah.
by Siddaramaih's wife's brother.
Yes.
He hands it over to Siddaramaih's wife. None of this is disputed flag. The land, MUDA then says it's illegal. They wrongly took the land. They decide to give her compensation against BJP. Nothing is disputed in this. In October 23, this 50-50 land deal is cancelled by the Congress government. Congress cancels it. It says this is wrong.
Exactly.
It was Congress that cancelled. They said you cannot compensate like that. So now the question comes out about Siddaramaih's wife. Siddaramaih says, listen, her land, I have to compensate everyone. You give her either the money or you give her land. You see what you want. Not of that. If Siddaramaih is therefore guilty for cancelling what is a controversial scheme done by the BJP in giving his wife land, then by that
But
logic,
that
why
is
Bombay not being
precisely what the
prosecuted?
court
That is
has
the
looked
question.
at and said is not
And it's wrong.
above.
And
No,
the
one
higher
second,
bench
one
will throw it
second.
out.
Mr. Poonawalla, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but the
he
court
didn't
has a
bring the
problem with
Thank
this.
you.
The court has a problem
court
with
can
it.
have- it
It
can be
thinks that
wrong.
it was an attempt to facilitate a compensation package at huge exalted prices for the chief minister. That's the
But
problem.
who did that?
No.
But who
One
did
second.
it?
Not getting
Let me
the
just bring
right
in.
Given to the chief
One second,
minister,
one second, one
was the
second,
chief
one
minister's
second.
wife
My
giving the
God.
chief minister a bribe?
Rahul,
Or was
this
the
is
BJP
completely
chief
One
minister
second.
giving him a
Mr.
bribe? Who was
Miss
the bribe
Hodigiri,
giver?
respond.
If I'm the bribe taker,
I am not
Respond.
the
in
bribe giver.
government.
Hang on.
How can I be
Tessin,
guilty? For
Tessin,
something
one
which I
second.
got
Why are
when I
you
was not
jumping
in
in?
government.
Let her respond, sir, please. She's from the BJP. She's the only
First and
spokesperson here.
foremost-
You guys
first
are
and
ganging
foremost-
up on her. Let her
Listen,
finish.
she and Karan are very capable.
Unfortunately, Rahul, they're ganging up against the untruth for the untruth over here, because even the acquisition of that land is under question. The court has already made a note of that. How it was acquired from a particular person from the Dalit community is under question. Second, when compensation was given, who gave it or not, investigate. Investigate. We are open to it. Who investigate?
Why have they not been
Hang on.
named?
Hang on.
Why is
Let
Basaraj
me-
Bommai not
let
on-
me
not being
speak.
named?
Let
There
me
is going to
speak.
be a case that is
No,
going
let
to be
me
filed in
speak.
FIR. The
Compensation
FIR can
that
mention
has
all
been
these
allotted.
people.
If I say
Don't
take
jump the
away
gun in the
land
process.
somewhere near Noida and give it in Lutyens, Delhi. That's the compensation that has been allocated. There has been very clear.
They're separate states.
Whichever, I'm trying to give a
Noida
Delhi
and Lutyens, Delhi are
national
separate states.
viewership.
You
No,
can't do
But the
please.
that.
point is
Let's
that
not-
higher
Yeah, they are
compensation
different
is
states, so
given.
it can't.
And then
It
my
doesn't matter,
question is,
Dr. Raman.
this
You
is
know
the
what she
family
means.
that has benefited, sir. Give me the answer to this. Why did Siddaramaiah, sir, hide this in his 2013 affidavit?
Yes.
Why was this land
That's
parcel
not
not mentioned? Why was this land parcel not mentioned? And you keep repeating, when he got this land, he was not chief minister. You know what, Tessin? You know what, Suman sir? He is chief
It
minister
was not-
now.
it had
He
been
is chief
acquired,
minister
right?
now. Let
When
him
was
be
it acquired?
investigated. He
Okay.
is chief minister now. Let him be investigated.
Karan.
And any sort of conflict of interest
Karan
that
Verma.
arise from it should. It is our duty
the
to ensure that
only-
that doesn't happen.
On these points. Yeah.
The only defense that Tehseen or Mr. Raman have is that the BJP did it, or it happened during BJP's time, but they are not replying as to why Siddaramaihs got 14 premier properties. It's a scam running close to 4,000 crores. They are not replying on the merits. How he tried to scuttle this probe, how he tried to place a roadblock every single time. They are not answering on that. All they've done is resorted to whataboutery and tried to question the BJP. You are not answering on Siddaramaiah. Siddaramaiah
This is
must
following.
step down.
You're right,
He must
Karan.
step down.
This
Let's be
is
focused
following.
on what Siddaramaiah is
He
doing
has
right.
not allotted the
I'll answer
plot.
that.
One second.
BJP
One second.
government is
One
not
second.
allowed.
One second. One
If
second.
you get
benefited
14 plots,
finally?
will you say
Who
no?
has benefited
Who is
finally?
benefiting from it?
Who
One
has
second. One
benefited
second.
benefiting
One
from it?
second. One
Then
second.
you have
Viewers.
to
Is it
prosecute
the
who
BJP
gave him the plot.
Viewers.
You have to prosecute who
Viewers,
violated
all of this,
government,
all of
violated
these are
government rules.
points of an investigation. But what if someone
Exactly.
says, do not investigate?
Correct.
Then what
correct.
happens, viewers?
Please investigate.
So one
Please
second. No, no, no.
investigate
Now
everyone.
you're saying please investigate.
No, I'm
but
saying
what
it
does
is
Mr.
investigating.
Siddaramaiah
I'm
want
saying
done?
order
Siddaramaiah
CBI
was
Okay,
trying
please
to
don't
cut
shout.
this probe.
Please don't shout. Viewers,
Order a
I need you
CBI
to
inquiry.
understand this. Look, it's very simple. It's very simple. The governor cannot automatically go out there and order the prosecution sanction, cannot give the prosecution sanction. He has to take the opinion of the cabinet. In this case, the Siddaramaihs cabinet. The Siddaramaihs cabinet was obviously not keen on an investigation. So what does the governor, Mr. Gehlot, do? He exercises his powers, goes into this issue and grants prosecution sanction. Now, what is the next step, viewers? Think about it. The next step is very simple, that an FIR is lodged, in that the police or whoever it is that is going to investigate is free to name whoever they want, Bomai, BJP, everybody, including the chief minister. And an investigation begins. But what happens? That investigation is not beginning. The CM goes running to court, gets an interim order, the matter is stayed. What is stayed? The grant of prosecution sanction is stayed, viewers. And then the chief minister is attacked by the BJP to say you should quit because you are using your power now to block a very important procedure. This matter goes to the courts. He is a petitioner in his own case and he tells the High Court, please scrap this governor's order. There should be no investigation. Today the court rules against him. Now, viewers, the investigation will have to begin. Now I come back to this point. Why did they stall the investigation for this long? If they were all clean and it was the BJP that was guilty. Number one.
Can I please
Think
answer
about it.
that?
No, I'm moving on because I
The
have to
judicial
go to
inquiry was
Mr.
already
Surya.
was
I have to
already-
go
the
to
judi-
Mr. Surya. 1 second. And second point, viewers, is this. If an investigation now has to take place, state authorities have to do it because they are not certainly going to ask for a CBI probe, are they? State government has to demand one unless the court suo motu orders one. Someone will have to move the courts again. Now, if the state authorities are going to investigate, viewers, who's the chief minister they're reporting to? It's Mr. Siddaramaihs. Can you have a fair and independent probe? Well, think about it, viewers. Till he's CM, probably you can't. And even if you do, there will always be doubt. That is why people are saying, step aside in the interim, like Mr. Kejriwal has done. Find your Bharat, who will rule in your name, and step aside. That's all where we are at, viewers. We don't know who's guilty, who's not guilty. I'm not even going there. But I'm going to welcome Tejasvi Surya, BJP Member of Parliament. He joins us. He represents Bengaluru South. The Congress says it's a partial victory for the Chief Minister as the High Court has denied Governor sanction to seek prosecution under Section 218 of the BNSS. Mr. Surya, how do you respond to this?
Well, clearly the Chief Minister is trying to clutch onto some straws for last-minute political oxygen. That's all I can say with this interpretation or this reading of the very clear High Court order. Rahul, the High Court order makes it abundantly clear that the governor has taken an appropriate decision to accord sanction against the Chief Minister, and that he is empowered to take independent action regardless of the advice of the Council of Ministers in exceptional circumstances such as these. The High Court has also mentioned in its detailed order two other very interesting things. One, it says that the order of the governor according sanction does not suffer from lack of application of mind. It in fact goes to say that there is an abundance of application of mind on the part of the governor. First. Second, the judgment also makes it clear, it makes a very strong observation that the primary beneficiaries of the alleged corruption, the 56 crore benefits in this scam is the chief minister and his immediate family, and therefore the chief minister has very serious questions to answer, and therefore the chief minister cannot run shy of facing an investigation.
Okay.
So these two very pertinent observations of the High Court in its long speaking, well-reasoned order of A, saying that the governor's order does not suffer from lack of application of mind, but in fact displays abundance of application of mind, and that the immediate beneficiaries of the alleged scam are the chief minister's immediate family members, and therefore the chief minister cannot run shy from investigation, are very scathing, to say the least. And Siddaramaiah ideally should reflect and resign immediately to make way for an impartial inquiry. But now that Arvind Kejriwal has set new standards for shamelessness in the country, I don't know what path Siddaramaiah will undertake.
Well, as of now, the chief minister says, I'm not quitting. Even H.D. Kumaraswamy didn't and Yediyurappa didn't quit. So why should I? What's your reaction to this?
Well, for the primary reason that once this sanction is accorded, the law will follow its course and an FIR will be registered. And once the FIR will be registered, the authorities who will be investigating the chief minister will also be reporting to him. Therefore, principles of natural justice, fairness demand that the authorities who report to me cannot be investigating me. In that context, one would deem it necessary in the interest of fairness, justice and morality for the chief minister to take a moral high ground and resign. But like I said, even after being arrested and after being in jail for months together, there are new precedents being set by people like Arvind Kejriwal, new records of shamelessness in public office being set.
Okay,
and I don't know what course of action Siddaramaiah would want to take.
Well, Mr. Surya, at a political level, the response from the chief minister today in his press conference, and you can see him there in the middle of your screens where he was holding a press conference, says that the BJP, the JDS are against lower castes and therefore there is a witch hunt against him. How would you respond to this at a political level?
Well, unfortunately, in many instances, people who are facing very serious charges suddenly start invoking their caste and caste connected either privileges or backwardness as a shield to protect against the crimes that they have committed. Now, if people should not be making allegations against the chief minister just because he happens to be from the backward class, then why was Rahul Gandhi making unfounded allegations against the prime minister of the country who also happens to be from the backward classes? Why was it then that Siddaramaiah was not coming in front in support of the prime minister? Why did Siddaramaiah not counsel Rahul Gandhi to stop making allegations against a backward class prime minister? So in the case of the prime minister, his backward class cannot be a shield when Rahul Gandhi makes allegations against him. But in the case of Siddaramaiah's own corruption and his immediate family's corruption, his backward class can become a point of defense. People are not blind to such doublespeak and hypocrisy. People of Karnataka and people of the country, the electorate is extremely mature and intelligent and will see through this kind of hypocrisy, Rahul.
Well, Mr. Surya, thank you for speaking to me. Thank you for joining us here on CNN News 18. Viewers, this story is not going anywhere. Let me tell you that. It's going to hog the headlines for a few more days, perhaps weeks and months till something breaks in Karnataka.